Hello, hi there YouTubers and everyone that might be watching this. Today I'm gonna show you how to pull your sword out of a leash on your back. And is that actually possible? Let's see. Shall we? Okay, so what I got here is a katana. You might know this from samurai films, ninjas, you know. So it's a weapon from Japan. Actually, this is kind of a replica. I wouldn't really use it in battle, but for a demonstration, it's gonna be fine. So this discussion, it's more like a series of monologues, because you got people repeating over and over that pulling your sword from your back. So you got like this, and getting it in one stroke, so you can slash with it, or at least have a hand and move. That's impossible, and the arguments for that are, well, simple and logical, and here they are. So first of all, let's get a grip here, and let's say that this is how I wear it on my back. So if I reach now, and I'm gonna try to get it out, as you see, the blade is too long, so it's not gonna get out totally. Of course, I could have something shorter there, but in this case, I'm just gonna have to stretch my arm really far, and maybe then I'm gonna pop it. And I could, but this wouldn't be a useful move. I couldn't simply get it out in one fluid motion. So what could you do? Some say, well, we're lower on your back like this, right? But then the thing is, what's gonna happen is you're gonna grab it like this. So far away from the tsuba in this case, right? So the guard, and you got the same problem here. So unless you try to wiggle your hand, it's just not gonna give you anything. It's not gonna be useful at all. So let's just for a moment look at the historical context, and why would you even try this? When it comes to katanas, well, who used katanas? Of course, samurai did, and this was a weapon, a personal weapon. You wouldn't really use it in battle unless you had to. So you lost your yari, so for example your spear, maybe a naginata, so that's like a halberd, basically, a version of that, or your nodashi, so a big two-handed sword. You lost that, you had your katana, someone is attacking you, you pull that out, you fight him. And where do you wear your katana? Well, at your side. Quite obviously, you don't wear it on your back, you don't really need to. And in his day-to-day actions, the samurai would wear his katana where everybody could see it, so he would be known as the guy with the sword, that is the nobleman. So there's no need to put it on your back, right? Well, you got another group, the so-called ninja, or the shinobi, as they are actually called in Japan. Ninja is a Chinese word that came to Japan, so you can actually use it, but it's not originally Japanese. And the thing is that to the 60s, I think, most historians thought that ninjas used a special weapon, the ninja toe, and this would have a square tsuba, so this part right here would be a square, theoretically, and the handle would be empty inside. So you could pop off the end and pull out something that you want to get there. As it turns out, this probably wasn't the case. It seems now that this was actually an invention of Hollywood, simply put. And most historians will now say that there wasn't a ninja, or if it was ever used, maybe someone somewhere had developed some weapon like that for some time, but it's lost in history. So basically, what a ninja used, or a shinobi used, was a katana, simply put. This was the best weapon he could carry around. Useful, not too big, and he could hide it also in his stuff that he carried around. So what did the shinobi actually do normally? Well, he wasn't really an assassin primarily. Sometimes he would kill somebody, but most likely he would get information. So imagine two provinces, and in one they're getting ready for war. So the other one sends a shinobi or several shinobi to investigate just how much men, how much weapons, how much rice those other guys have. So how does a shinobi get in there, right? Well, if it's a city he wants to investigate, he could dress like a monk, for example, or a merchant, or even a samurai, theoretically, but he would have to have a good cover for that, probably. But a ronin, so a samurai without a master, maybe supposedly looking for employment. There are options, and all of those don't get them everywhere, because if you have a castle somewhere on the hill, then how is he going to get in there if the security is tight and the troops are garrisoned there? He might get some knowledge about how many samurai, how many ashigaru, so trained peasants really are in there, but all that is going to be hearsay. He's not going to be sure. So what can he do? Well, he can wait till nightfall and climb the walls, simply put. And sure, he had climbing claws. He could have a whole assortment of small things that would help him in climbing the walls. But the thing is, having a katana, assuming that he wanted the weapon with him, and he was prepared to use it, having it at his side would be a bad idea, because it dangles, and when you're climbing, you don't want something moving around at your side and maybe slipping out of the obi, so the belt around the waist, and falling. Maybe you get discovered that way, making too much of a ruckus. And what are the options? Well, you could put it on your back. Well, that's great, but what if you need to grab it and quickly take it out? Well, that's a problem, sure, if you use those standard methods. But I'm going to show you how to do it in an effective way. But before I go into that, just one more thing. Basically, in Europe, well, is there any use for this in European-styled story game? Well, some games, like, for example, The Witcher 3, maybe you played that one or saw it. He pulls his sword out of his fish on his back, and he does it in a very fluent motion, so you don't really notice how does that work, right? Does his arm stretch that far? Well, probably not, but when you have a very quick animation, you don't necessarily need to worry about those tiny bits of well, let's say anti-logic that might appear. You just play it fast, and the person playing doesn't see it clearly. That's it. So, did any Europeans try to wear swords on their backs? Because of course the Witcher 3, the whole game is basically more like a European style medieval fighting thing. The whole armor, weapons, tactics they use. That's European. So, did anybody use such a move? Apparently, there was some tribe. I think it was an island. I heard about it one time and don't know the specifics. I guess they had short swords, and so they did actually wear them like that. Normally, you wouldn't have to. If you go back to the Roman times, the short sword, the gladius, was so short that actually they wore it on the right hip and pulled it with the right hand, at least at first. So it was so short that there wasn't any problem. Other nations with longer swords would just wear them traditionally on the left hip. No one need to strap that sword to his back. So was that used? Probably not. So if you're gonna take a weapon, for example, you yourself, and go into some recreation of medieval era times, I guess you could wear it like that. Maybe it's cool, but no one will expect from you that you're gonna pull it out and immediately slash something or someone. Okay, so all that. We have wasted enough of your time, I think. I hope I didn't bore you. So this is a katana, as I said, and how will I put it from my back? Well, first of all, this one here does not have a strap attached, and to make this work, you would have to have something attached. So somewhere at the bottom and up here, and this would work just so you understand this with pretty much any short sword, even medium length sword, and with two-handed swords. I'll get into that just in a moment. So how would we actually approach that? Well, first of all, why the strap? Well, you don't want it to dangle on your back when you climb those walls and you're going to spy in that castle, right? So the ninja wearing the katana would want it to be fastened pretty tightly, but then he would want to use it. So the simplest answer to this is tying the knot. This is one of the options. You can have a strap that's simply regulated in some way, but this, if you have a piece of rope or any kind of long piece of cloth that this is going to hang from, you need a long one so that when you actually wear it around you, it's gonna, the sword, the katana, is gonna be very low, and then you need some regulation, so you can tie something and make it shorter for a while at least. So this would be the way you can do this. Okay, yeah. So, sorry for maybe a weak demonstration of how to use a knot like that. Actually, I didn't find this anywhere on the net. You know, they have a lot of knots, but the thing what you need is a quick release on it, and you don't have an object that you're going to tie it around. So this should shorten your rope, your line, your whatever you have, right? Your strap. And then what can you do? Well, as you see, it's never gonna untie if you're just gonna pull it like that. But if you pull this one, this piece, it goes. So you can wear it around like this and tie it in front of you, and then whoosh, with one move it gives you some more length. And how much length will you have, or will you need? I'd say a foot. You know, if you don't count in foot, it's going to be about 30 centimeters, 33, something like that. That's going to be fine. Now, so how is this going to work? Well, first of all, don't kill myself. Okay, so the thing is, you want to grab it here, and what it's going to do is going to hang very low after you released it, right? Boom. And now walking around with this, yeah, it's possible, but you know, it's gonna move around a bit on your back. So this isn't ideal for climbing any walls, but it's pretty good. You know, it's pretty safe on your back, and still you can well, you can do this. So basically, you're gonna grab here. You're gonna grab your fish, and what you're gonna do is you're gonna push it up. Then you're gonna grab it, and voila! You see, you pull this down. So you pull up, push it up, grab, pull it down, and then you can immediately slash. Now, I saw one, I think, drawing of this. This was kind of an ancient Japanese drawing, and this guy, I think samurai or maybe a Ronin, who wore his katana in this way. Basically, he did was positioned himself like this to the enemy, and so he did a similar move, right? And he slashed the opponent right away. Now, is this more practical than wearing it at your side? Depends what you want to achieve. Generally, if you have a sword at your side, it's going to be more tiresome. It's gonna tire you, simply, right? So if you're gonna walk 10 miles, let's say that, then having your weapon on your back may be beneficial. But there are other ways to do this, to pull something out of your t-shirt, out of your back, or actually not exactly out of your t-shirt. Let's say that you have a two-handed weapon, and you think, ooh, could I get that? Could I wear that on my back, and then just get it fast? Maybe you're playing an RPG system, you know, like Dungeons and Dragons, and you think, is that possible? And the game master says, no. But you say, well, but I could maybe do something. But what would you do? Well, here's a is a little something that might work, but it's gonna be pretty dangerous for a blade that's not specifically made for this. So, okay, there we go. So this is the thing you're gonna need to have, and it's gonna be on your back, kind of thing. And this is gonna be attached to probably a piece of wood. It's gonna be a flat piece of wood, and in reality, the whole sword is gonna be permanently out. So besides this, it can have a strap somewhere lower, something you can just click open, right? Or maybe even a little thing that looks like this. Now, why this particular shape? Of course, this should be all metal and it shouldn't be so thin. This is the part that would attach to a wooden board, you know, a piece of wood, flat wood. Okay, so your sword would actually hang on the guard, right? And it would be towards one side, this closed side. Now, as you see, I'm using demonstration tool right now, but the thing is, this should be more than twice the width of your blade. So if your blade is like this, right, this wide, then this should be probably 2.5 of that size. Now, the reason, you see, is because when you wear it on your back, it simply hangs here, but it's on this side, and here you're gonna have some sort of clasp, something that's gonna hold it there. So this is gonna be a piece of wood, another strap, something that you can just click and release. Okay, and you're in a battle situation. Here's your two-handed sword, assuming that you can actually, you know, walk around with it on your back, because if you have a proper one and you just don't have the height, you might not be wearing it on your back at all. But then, you know, you have bastard swords, so a 1.5 hand kind of sword, and this could be useful for that. You could actually use that method I showed you to pull a shorter blade, a longer blade, sure. But if it's a really long blade, then that's just not going to work, you know, unless you got really long hands and do it in some way that you practice, and maybe then, sure. So there's a blade. It's hanging here, right? And I'm going to show you like this. And now what you do is you move it here, and like this, out. It's out. So to one side and out. So how would this look, kind of thing? You would do this move to one side, and then maybe this. I hope I'm explaining this well, but honestly the prop wasn't that good. Okay, so let's say it's hanging like this. Yeah, that's initially from the other side, right? So it's grabbed, then you move it here, twist it like this, and pull out. And then you can actually put it back on your back like this. So, but the thing is, as you can see, it hangs here. Now this means that the guard has to be strong enough for this to hang, but that's not a problem really. The problem is you're going to have metal around this, and if the blade itself, if it catches something or you're walking, you can actually break it, unfortunately. And of course you're going to have an unsheathed sheath sword on your back. If it's sharp, you can cut someone, something, or even yourself. That's how it is. You could, I guess, make something like this. So I didn't make this. Of course, this is a 300 replica. If you had maybe you've seen the movie, it's not historically accurate at all, but you know, the Spartans actually had armor, a lot of armor, but you could have something like this. So as you see, it's passed along one side, and so this could be a kind of cover, so it doesn't, so that big huge sword doesn't catch something, you know, and it doesn't slash something that you don't want to slash. And once you want to pull it out, well then first you would have to take this cover off. So having a longer split on it would be beneficial here, and it would be a good thing. And then just take that out, or just kind of open it, and then do the trick with, you know, hanging sword, move and out. Okay, move and in, move and out. So like this, right here, like this, and then it's out. But yeah, this is more like novelty, you know. It wouldn't be probably too useful for wielding a two-handed blade. You could just take it out, take it off your back, you know, and just whoosh, get the fish out, off, and then you got it in your hands anyway. So it would maybe save you half a second. The only really real purpose for this would be if you would take it out, use it, put it back in, take it out, use it, put it back in every 5 minutes or so, and you do that 20 times. So like in a computer game, for example, or a video game, right, where the character might be doing that. So such a contraption, holding it on his back, might be useful. So I hope I didn't bore you, and I'll just see you next time. Bye.